Hi, Jasmine. Here's the Spanish class, lesson 2. So I'm going to do some introduction about the Spanish. So when you learn a foreign language, in this case Spanish, you must look at each word in 3 ways. The first way is the meaning of the word. Each English word must be connected to a Spanish word that has an equivalent meaning. Looks like, put an example, the English word book has the same meaning as the Spanish word libro. Words with equivalent meaning are learned by memorizing vocabulary. Sometimes 2 words are the same and very similar in both English and Spanish. These words are called cognate and are, of course, easy to learn. Put an example, like English, we speak intelligent, and in the writing of Spanish, they're very close to the English writing, but the pronunciation is different. It's called inteligente. So in English, problem, P-R-O-B-L-E-M. So in Spanish, the writing is very similar also, but it pronounced problema. And also visit, the verb in Spanish is visitar. So occasionally knowing one Spanish word will help you to learn another. Put an example, knowing that niño means boy should help you learn that niña, because niña is the female gender of niño. Niña means girl. Or knowing that hermano is brother should help you remember hermana, the sister. Usually, however, this is little similarity between words, and knowing one Spanish word will not help you learn another. Maybe their writing is totally different. As a general rule, you must memorize each vocabulary item separately. Put an example, like knowing that man is hombre will not help you to learn that woman is mujer. So they're totally different. The masculinism and the feminism is totally different. In addition, there are times when words in combination take on a special meaning. Put an example, the Spanish word hacer means to make. Cola means tail. However, hacer cola means to line up, to stand in line. An expression whose meaning as a whole is hacer cola is different from the meaning of individual word hacer and cola. It's called an idiom. You will need to pay special attention to idiomatic expression in order to recognize them and use them correctly. The second thing is the classification of a word. English and Spanish words are classified in a category called part of speech. Here's a list of the part of speech used in Spanish. They are noun, verb, pronoun, adjective, article, adverb, preposition, conjunction. Each part of speech has its own rule for spelling, pronunciation, and use. You must learn to recognize what part of speech a word is in order to choose the correct Spanish equivalent and know what rules to apply. So look at the word that in the following sentence. For example, that girl is my sister. The English word is the same in all 3 sentences, but in Spanish, 3 different words will be used because each of that belongs to a different part of speech. Number 3, the use of a word. A word must also be identified according to the role it plays in the sentence. Each word, whether English or Spanish, plays a specific role. Determining this role or function will help you choose the correct Spanish equivalent and know which rule to apply. Here is a list of functions. Subject, direct subject, indirect object, object of a preposition. Let us examine the function of the word him in the following sentence. Like, they don't see him. Him is the subject. I wrote him a letter. Are you going with him? The English word is the same in all these three sentences, but in Spanish, three sentence word will be used because each him has a different function. So, as a student of Spanish, you must learn to recognize both the part of speech and a function of each word in a sentence. This is essential because words in a Spanish sentence have a great deal of influence on one another. Put an example. The new red shoes are on the small round table. The is los, new is nuevos, shoes is zapatos, red is rojos, are is están. On the small round table, on is sobre. The small, la pequeña table, mesa, round, redonda. The only word that affects another word in sentence is shoes, which forces us to say are. If the word were shoe, we would have to use is. The word for shoes, zapatos, not only affect the word for están, but also the spelling and pronunciation of the Spanish word for the, new, and red. The word for table, mesa, affects the spelling and pronunciation of the Spanish word the, small, and round. The only word not affected by another word is sobre, meaning on. Since part of speech and function are usually determined in the same way in English and in Spanish. So I will show you how to identify them in English. You will then learn to compare English and Spanish conjunctions. This will give you a better understanding of explanation in your Spanish textbook.